we are Amit and Britta. We have been practicing architecture for the last almost 13-14 years. We come from a background of research-based architecture. So taking this, we went to Zaha, worked there. Architects who were just doing competitions went on to become project architects, managing our own projects.
It was not in our minds to do only architecture. It's about design, like find out a functionality, what the purpose is, and then you can design anything.
So GTL, I think, is one of the very important and meaningful design competitions. It was the first design competition we took part in the last years. We never believe in design competitions. So we found it very interesting that there's someone in India who's looking to develop designs here. And there's a specific wing which is looking forward towards developing designs and techniques. So we thought it will be a good idea for us to be a part of this. That's why we sent in the entries.
All right, well, thank you for coming and congratulations. And if you want to tell me or tell us a little bit more about your project.
So the project started with the idea of creating a complex form, but coming from the material intelligence.
Okay.
Usually we go the other way. We come up with a form and then we find a material and go about this. So the idea here was to use this Kerfing, which is a slicing of the wood technique, and using the cut in the wood, how we can generate the piece or the curvature. This was the entire exercise, how we started the project. So, like we did some initial study patterns, both physically and digitally, for how this curving can happen.
Bending wood or bending something that's not already bent is actually a very challenging thing, and you're asking something to deform and move. And so we often don't have an intuitive idea of how that actually works in practice.
The biggest challenge will be to lose sight of the deadline. I think we really have to be sure. There's 1.5 months which we have to really make it count.
Yeah, we're just looking forward now to start doing some prototyping.
So the process started from, first of all, optimizing the form. So the form we had, it was a concept design. The curves were not really optimized and fluid. So first we optimized this and we started doing a lot of research at the back end in terms of curving and the maths behind the curving. So from this, it resulted in us understanding the depth of the wood, the depth of the curve, and the spacing of the curve. So after all this digital process was done, now we just have one unrolled printout of the entire launcher with some lines on it. So the carpenter can just take these lines and do the cutting, and he can make the piece. So we had the technique, we had everything, but we did not have anywhere to produce it. So in the end, we found a company which we were happy with, and they were willing to invest their time into the research and development of the product. So this was one of the biggest challenges.
So we just got a call from Kartik and Nitish, who are working on the piece, that it's not working against the grain.
I don't think we should go against the grain because
initially we are trying to do that along the grain, against the grain.
See, first what we did first was this.
Yeah.
So this is like only one side we are having the curve.
No, I know this. Then we said we do both sides, no?
Yeah.
That's when you start doing these. No, I think we just need to test the wood. Can I try to check the flexibility?
I think so because like this is against the grain. So this
is definitely maybe.
No, but this should be quite stable. But yeah, and it's a thinner piece we have taken now, no?
Yeah.
This will not take the load of the one much.
But there was another problem here. I think you have to check when we get the wood.
This is what is happening.
See, there was a knot here.
These cracks.
The knots are a problem. You had the knot problem here also. It's completely gone now, the piece. Okay, so let's do.
Finally, we decided.
We again came to
We will do.
No, it's not zero, it's research. So it's always going back and forth, back and forth. So again, it's a part of the process. So now we don't have any piece which is completely with the kerfing. We have all broken pieces behind us.
No successful piece yet.
Yeah, but we assume this will happen. It is a part of the process because it's more about testing and understanding rather than rushing for things. The target for today was that our architects are going there and we start putting the 2/3 prototype together. But by the time they reached there, the prototype was already assembled by the craftsmen and the workers in the factory. So the workmen who don't know anything about digital technologies, or they took these pieces and they wrapped it on the surface. It comes down to what we're looking at is that the people working and understanding the material and keeping things simple so that this piece can be easily fabricated by anyone. It's just about understanding and exploring the system, which we can develop further. And it also shows that it can be developed into further lines and ranges. But this is further. Right now, we'll just go and see if our little piece is holding up or not.
We have fixed it with the chips and resin.
Different wood pieces now. No?
Yeah.
The top you see in this wood is walnut, and down we have marandi.
Now we are filling this resin inside it.
Yeah.
So this is at 2/3 the scale.
Yeah.
So when did we do the filling in this? Yesterday we did the filling. No?
Yeah. Yesterday we did the filling. When I can sit
Shall we
on
do
it.
the test and take it out?
Okay, but it works in terms of it's holding the shape. Yeah, a little bit of sagging is happening, but we've not filled the resin in this already. But it's not bad, I think, right now. The shape we're getting, yeah, okay. This problem we knew, but the curving angles and everything is working. So from the last time we met you, you saw a lot of broken pieces of wood. So it's a big achievement from that to having a little prototype. So now we'll just go for 1:1. Still treating it as a prototype, which might break. And at least we've learned a lot of things from this and have come a long way from where we were.
So far we started with the template, the base, the inner base. We were just cutting 2 templates for the left and the right side, and we put it together in the right width. And that's what we did so far. Now we started preparing. We took the real wood blanks and we started cutting it now.
So today while cutting the wood, we had 2-3 big pieces of very beautiful American walnut. Now the framework is ready. So after the framework, what we're doing is the 450 pieces are ready, which will be sliced to get the exact thickness of 25 mm, which we're looking for. Then all these pieces will be joined into one mega slab. So the entire unrolled elevation which we have there with the kerfing patterns. So we'll get the entire length into one, join it together. Then it will go on the bed. We'll do the kerfing pattern, which is both sides, top and bottom. Then the kerfing will be done. And then given that the piece of wood is, I think, 4 meters long, the unrolled elevation, the unrolled piece. So then we'll have to make a temporary soaking area. So it has to be put into water for 6 to 8 hours. So it gets moisture. The idea is that it gets more moisture in it so we can bend the wood. So that's what we'll do next. And once all this process is done, then we'll use a template and start wrapping it on this. After this, we will take it into the kiln, reducing the moisture so it gets the strength. And also the kerfing patterns, what we were trying earlier to give it strength, we're going to fill it with 1/3 of the kerf, we'll fill it with wood chips, and another 1/3 we'll fill it with the resin. So you still see the beauty of the kerfing. We found GTL as a very exciting prospect and platform to develop our ideas. So as architects and designers, we like to explore with form, function, material. Rather than just designing in the office and also of course there's a time bound, we see it as a proper project. So yeah, it gives us opportunity to develop a product and to carry the research forward from the computer and onto the execution part of it. Well, as designers, I think the most pleasure we get is seeing the final product in front of you. Be it building or... So the biggest takeaway will be to see this finished piece in front of us, and hopefully when it's displayed, to see people looking at this and trying to understand the mindset which we had in designing it and appreciating it. So it's really the pleasure comes from looking at the final product and see people engaging with it.
With all the efforts now, we are quite proud that now we see the final product here and it stands and it holds and that people can sit on it and experience it. A lot of people are saying they want to buy it and when can they buy it, how can they buy it? And then they're a bit disappointed to hear that it's not yet on the market.
There were two women who came here, two ladies. So they were telling me, can we have this in our house next week? So I said, sorry, it's not possible. Like yesterday at the opening night, there were people, like I just saw one guy who sat down and he said, fabulous.
Amit and Britta's lounger might be one of the most ambitious things that we've done this year. So very often we see concepts that look like concepts, they're just fanciful ideas. You don't really know if they're going to work, right? And if you see something that's basically an outline, you have to wonder, is it going to be, can we make it? Will it be comfortable? Will it look really nice? And this actually does all of those things. It actually flexes slightly, and the joints are not rigid joints. The joints themselves flex, and the materials are natural. It's all wood, right? So it's actually a marvelous sort of amalgam of very modern thinking, very modern engineering, combined with very, very natural materials, sort of this earth.
In India, normally we don't bend the wood. It is not possible to bend wood. The technique which they are using, it's really amazing, and it is really helpful to get a more flexible wood, hardwood.
The main thing which I liked about the lounger was it gave you that bouncy feel, which not all the loungers give you.
Oh, we are so relaxed. It's all done. It was really tough because there were moments we thought it will not work.
There was a lot of trial and error and failing and redoing, so yeah, we were not sure.
Yeah, as a creative field, the success is for us to see the piece in front of us. So it's a part of creation, and this was unknown if our creation will work or not. So it's a very happy moment that it all worked out. So yeah, we are happy to be here.